Your mother told you when you approached her and said someone had said this to you, she said they're lying.
She said they're lying, they made it up. So
and you left it alone from there?
I left it alone from there. My mother died when I was 17 years old.
Okay.
She was 39 years old. She died from lupus. I did an article in the newspaper when I was 37 years old. It was about being homeless and on drugs with a drug addiction. I had went to Lucius Kirkland's house to wash clothes. When I got back to the shelter, they said a man called and said he seen that article in that newspaper about you being homeless and on drugs, and he had called Mr. Smith and called the shelter and told them that he was my father.
Really?
Yeah.
And so, Mr. Smith, you remember making that phone call?
Yes, Your Honor. I did.
Tell me what happened.
Well, after I was in the paper, in the canned paper, I got a call from my oldest daughter that Carmen is your daughter. I started reading the paper, and then what happened was, then I started to try to communicate with her, with Carmen. This is 20 years later.
She saw the article.
Yes.
And called you.
Yes, ma'am.
And said, this is your daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
Why did she believe that?
Because there have been rumors that I was her father.
Did you hear those rumors through the years?
Yes, but her mom never said anything to me about it. She never even mentioned it. I'm not here to defame anybody, and I'm not here to deny my responsibility.
Your Honor, I just want to speak on behalf of my mother, who is not here. Now, I can understand that he said he heard and he lived in a town called Alliance. And we live in a town called Canton. And Carmen's biological father, Lucius Kirkland, lives in a town called Massillon. With all those towns together, it is about 30 miles long. Everybody knows Andy, everybody knows Barney, and everybody's Aunt Emma's aunt, you know. So if you heard this once before, why did you stand up then? Why would it take your grown daughter to come and tell you that that woman right there is your child, based on an article in the paper? And even after that article ran, he still was a sit-down father. He hasn't stood up yet. But today he comes to stand, and today I come to prove the point that this man is her father.
So, Mr. Smith, Miss Spencer makes a point. If you'd heard those rumors over the years, but her mother had never said anything to you, you do remember her mother, am I correct?
Correct.
You remember having a sexual relationship with her?
No. Yes.
But did you ever, you were never told she was pregnant? You never even knew this?
No, I did not, Your Honor.
Now let's go back into this conversation. Because Carmen said when she was in the 7th grade, his younger sister said, you are my niece. That means for another 7-year-old, a 7th grader, or maybe 9th grader, to approach a 7th grader to say, you are my niece. That conversation was somewhere in your household. And he lived in
Well, I will say this, right or wrong, and you probably won't accept it because you've got your mind made up. But I've sat in this seat for a long time and helped a lot of families. It is not unusual. He says he didn't know. If he did know, it's not unusual, and we see very often, Jerome can attest to this, men in Mr. Smith's position that stay on the outskirts, even when they hear these rumors. Back in the day, I'm sure if she was in a relationship, like you said, or they had a family and Lucius was deemed to be her father, many people during those times would say, you leave well enough alone unless somebody comes say something to you. You don't believe your mother cheated. You don't believe any of these accusations.
Babies don't fall out the sky.
In the case of Spencer versus Garner Smith, when it comes to 57-year-old Carmen Garner,
I've had COPD for years, which meant using an inhaler several times a day. But then I discovered something better, 12-hour medication through a portable nebulizer. I only need it twice a day.
Med4Home, the specialty pharmacy, now offers long-acting respiratory medications through a portable nebulizer. If you have a chronic breathing condition, call Med4Home to find out more. Independent studies have shown a nebulizer may be more effective and easier to use than just an inhaler. And 12-hour medication means using it only 2 times a day.
No interruptions to my day.
Also, if you're enrolled in Medicare, your nebulizer and medications may be covered by Part B and supplemental insurance. That could mean little or even no cost to you. Med4Home will contact your doctor, handle the paperwork, and ship to your door at no extra cost.
12-hour medication. A better choice for me at a better price.
Call Med4Home today to learn more. 800-516-0736.
Decades, a network where every weekday, entertainment and history come together in different ways. All in context built around an event, an era, or a theme. It's different shows, movies, and documentaries every day. If you watch television with an antenna, you will need to rescan your TV to find Decades on KASW over-the-air channel 61.2. Decades. Relive, remember, relate.
Lucius Kirkwood is the man that is Carmen's father. And I believe that today, with this DNA test, she will know that this is her father. I never ever heard nothing about a Mr. Smith until Mr. Smith popped up and said that he may
After
be.
the article.
After the article had ran,
But
I heard.
before that.
And I
Mr.
heard.
Smith, when you were with Miss Garner's mother and Miss Spencer's mother, did you remember her also being in a relationship with someone else? Lucius, anybody? Do you remember that?
Well, we dated for about a year,
Okay.
but at that particular time, Your Honor, I did not.
Okay.
If he dealt with her for a whole year, he had to have known something. You know, you don't just get a woman pregnant and then you don't see her no more. After a year, there's feelings. After a year, you call her every now and then. After a year, you see her every now and then. My mother hung out.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
They had to have some type of relationship. Babies don't fall out the sky.
They definitely don't fall out the sky. But this accusation right here, it fell from somewhere. It came up out of somewhere.
And that's why we're here today.
And
Because
that's
it came up out of somewhere.
open up this
And I want you to be okay. I want the rest of my sisters to be okay. What it does for me, if we're somewhere, because he has other children, 20 years ago, they embraced me. They say, this is our sister.
They did.
Yes, they
20 years ago.
Yes, but it's never been proven through DNA. So if we're somewhere, like maybe at an event, at a store, and they walk up and I say, well, this is my sister, Kathy. Kathy, this is my sister. And she'd walk away and might say, them ain't none of your sisters. You're crazy.
Your Honor, I never ever remember saying that none of them was her sister. At the end of the day, the beginning of the day, I'm worried about these accusations and the defaming of my mother's name. Please answer me. What kind of help did he give her?
Mrs. Smith, did you help her?
I'm looking for truths. That's what I'm looking for. And today, I'm going to get it.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Smith, you
Do you want a DNA test to help you find your biological father?